Hey everybody, welcome to today's practice. Starting in the seated position, seated pose. Taking a couple of breaths here. We're going to do some inversions in today's practice. So we're just going to warm the back up a little bit, but before we do that, let's set an intention for the day or for our practice by bringing our hands to our heart center, closing down the eyes, going within, and asking, what do I need today? How do I need to show up today? Where do I want to put my energy today? Raising the arms above our head as we breathe in, holding at the top, and then exhaling. Right hand goes to left knee, the left arm goes to the earth behind our bottom. Breathing in, hands back to center, exhaling, switching over to the other side. Left hand goes to right knee, right hand goes behind the hips. Breathing in back to center, exhaling to the other side. Take a round of breath here. Then inhaling back to center, exhaling to the other side. I'm going to speed this up now and create a little bit of heat. We really want to warm up our back before we do any sort of inversion type exercises. So this seated twisted pose is great for not only warming up the back, but it's great for digestion and that lumbar and thoracic spine as well. I'm just going to roll through some curving. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see what I'm doing with my chest, opening it up to the sky, taking the head back, and then rolling the spine in the opposite direction, taking the chest high, up and out, and then pulling back on the knees and curving our spine in the other way. So taking our back backwards. Just rolling through this a couple of times at your own pace, making sure we're connecting to breath. Just getting some fluidity in the lower back and the hips. And then coming back to center. Just going to place the right hand on the earth, bringing the left arm up and over the head. So we get this beautiful stretch through the obliques. Making sure we're grounding down our knees and our hips in this pose. Over to the other side. Left hand goes down, right arm comes up and over. Making sure we're opening the chest towards the sky. And then coming into neutral spine in our tabletop position. And then we're going to run through some cat and cows. So exhaling into our cat position, inhaling as we drop the stomach towards the earth. Inhaling as we raise our back towards the sky. Inhaling, exhaling. Tucking the toes, coming into downward facing dog. Pedaling out the legs, if that feels good for you. There, you can see my pose is very tight. So we're going to come down into dolphin pose. So bringing the forearms down to meet the earth, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, taking the hips high. I don't know about you, but my legs were screaming at me in this pose today. They were very, very tight. really engaging the core in this pose as well. And then dropping the knees to the earth, taking them wide as we come into child's pose. Arms going long, forehead melting softly onto the mat. Hips are sitting on our heels. If this is too much on your knees, then feel free to do a closed-legged child's pose. And taking a few rounds of breath here to expand the rib cage. Slowly coming out, we're going to come into a seated position and then just slowly lowering down onto our back. Bringing our knees towards our chest and then placing our hands under our hips as we come in to this beautiful inversion pose with butterfly legs. I'm going to turn around and show you in a moment what it looks like. So just stay in that pose, but our arms that are connecting with the earth are taking the weight of our hips in this pose. And it should be quite comfortable just to stay there. And bringing the soles of our feet together, opening out the knees. And it's really our elbows and our triceps, I guess, that are connecting with the earth, and our shoulders. And just breathing deeply in this pose. If you want to hold it a bit longer, feel free. Otherwise, slowly coming out of it. Just hugging the knees in towards the chest. And placing both feet back to the earth. I'm just going to come into bridge pose. So arms coming down by our sides. Feet are firmly grounded on the mat. Lifting the hips up high, squeezing the buttocks underneath the hips. And then interlacing the fingers underneath our body, pulling the shoulders away from the ears. I feel this beautiful bicep stretch as well. And then unraveling the fingers, bringing them back out wide as we slowly lower our body back down to the mat. Maybe scratching your nose if you need to. And then coming back into our inversion pose, hands going beneath our bottom and our hips. And then slowly lowering the legs. If you can get your straight legs to the ground, then go for it. Amazing. If you need to bend them, that's okay as well. You can come up onto your fingertips just to push your body a little bit further if you can. Knees can go beside your head. And making sure we're not holding our breath in this pose. We're continuing to breathe through it. You should feel a beautiful stretch in the shoulders, and then slowly bringing the hands back and just unraveling the legs. And then you can keep the legs straight and just practice bringing them down towards the head. This is as far as I could get mine today. It was just a little bit too much pain for me in my legs to get them any further. So make sure you're listening to your body, and then slowly bringing back and then the bottom back down to the mat. Taking the feet wide, dropping the knees into each other, just letting the back rest for a moment. Palms face down, grounding down, connecting with earth and source energy. And then just crossing the feet over. I'm just going to grab my bolster. If you've got your bolster next to you, just grab it. And we're going to lift the hips and place it underneath the sit bones, underneath sort of the glutes. Arms are down by our side, and we're going to come into this butterfly leg pose again. So I just wanted to show you an alternative way to do the pose if you found it hard. And the same with the inversion. If you found it too hard getting up onto your arms, then just start with the bolster and you can build your way up from there. And slowly bringing back each foot to the earth, slipping the bolster from underneath the hips and then lowering the back down to the ground. We're just going to come into a reverse tabletop now. So fingertips are facing the heels. Should be a 90-degree angle from the thighs down to the ankles. Lifting the hips as high as you can here. Dropping the head back so the gaze is up towards the sky. And then slowly sitting the hips back down. Coming slowly back down to earth. Taking the hands this time right behind the shoulders here, and we're going to push up through the legs and the arms. Coming into reverse tabletop position. Now, if this is too much for you, then feel free to go back to bridge pose. And then slowly lowering our shoulders and then our back and then our hips back to the mat. Grounded down the arms. Taking the legs long now. You can flip the palms up if you would love to attract more abundance today, or leave them face down if you're feeling a bit anxious or need to ground down. Just letting the feet fall heavy to the sides. Just going to be in Shavasana for a couple of minutes here, but if you want to stay longer, feel free to stop the video and just go into your own peace and serenity. Otherwise, take a few deep breaths. And on the exhale, feel your body getting heavier and heavier as it melts deeper and deeper into relaxation. The deeper into relaxation you go, the deeper you can go on this inward journey. Connect to self, this inner knowing, this inner truth that lies within all of us. But often we're so busy, caught up in our everyday life, we forget to listen. We forget to sit in silence. We forget to go within to seek the answers to the questions we often ask ourselves. You are the answer. You are the light that you're seeking in your life right now. You're exactly where you're meant to be. There's no need to compare your life to anybody else's. You're on the right path. Everything is going to be okay. Taking a big stretch now as you bring some awareness back into the body. Maybe stretching the hands and the fingers. Rotating the wrists, twinkling the toes. Rolling over to one side. And then pushing up into our seated pose. Maybe taking a moment to stretch out the neck here. Dropping your right ear to your right shoulder. Left ear to left shoulder. Dropping the head back. Forwards. Or just sitting still. Taking a big deep breath in, raising our arms overhead, hands in prayer position, bringing them to our third eye. May we have kind and loving thoughts today as we bring them to our lips. May we speak kind and loving words today as we lower them to our heart space. May we have kind and loving intentions today. It's been an absolute blessing delivering this practice today, not only for me, but also for you. Namaste.